Hello, welcome to a new mini-series. We're going to play through the first 5 chapters of Fire Emblem Fates on the highest difficulty level, and our goal will be to maximize resource extraction. Experience points, weapon ranks, items, and whatever else we can get, without doing anything too degenerate. This game has a feature called Branch of Fate that lets you start a new save file right after Chapter 5. You retain all of the stats and items that you had earned whenever you last reached the route split. Therefore, if you put some effort into these tutorial chapters, you can reap the benefits over and over again by starting new campaigns at the Branch of Fate. However, a quick disclaimer, it's not necessary to optimize these chapters in the way that you're about to see. The only thing that's really important to do before the route split is to get your avatar trained up, and that happens more or less automatically because Corrin is one of your best units. But if you'd also like to power up some of the other characters, like Rinka and Kaze, this may be of interest to you. Personally, I just think it's fun to figure these things out. The choice to play as male or female Corrin matters because it determines which servant you get in chapters 2 and 3. Male Corrin gets Felicia, while female Corrin gets Jacob. Jacob is generally better on those 2 maps, so I'm choosing the female option, but if you prefer male Corrin, don't worry, I will show some strategies for him whenever there's a difference. Most of the other options here in the character creation system are cosmetic, including Corrin's talent, because you can always change that after Chapter 5 at the Branch of Fate. The 2 that do have an effect on gameplay before the route split are Corrin's Boon and Bane. For Boon, there are 2 very good choices. The Quick Boon gives Corrin 2 extra points of speed, and it also grants 15% higher speed growth, plus 5% to skill and luck. We're going to want Corrin to have 9 speed by level 7, and she starts with 6 by default. So if she gets 2 extra points from the speed boon, she's virtually guaranteed to get there. And even if you change your build at the Branch of Fate, Corrin will have gained 7 levels with that 15% speed growth bonus. That often translates into an extra point of speed, which is always helpful. The other great option is Clever, which grants 3 points of magic and also adds 20% to Corrin's magic growth, alongside 5% to speed and resistance. This is a boon you pick for its long-term benefits. That magic growth boost is really big, and if it helps you bank some extra points of magic, it can make Corrin's Dragonstone far more powerful. That's extremely useful in the early game on all 3 routes. However, there is a downside. Outside of the small boost to speed growth, the magic boon gives you essentially nothing before the route split. Remember that 9 speed threshold I mentioned? With a magic boon instead of a speed boon, Corrin's chances of reaching it drop to about 80%. On Lunatic difficulty, the random numbers that determine which stats a particular unit is going to gain at each level are all set when that unit joins the roster. If you're trying to follow what I'm doing turn by turn, and Corrin's stats come up short of the thresholds, then either you'll have to invent a workaround, or you'll have to reset the whole run. That's inconvenient, but the first few chapters are really quick, and I've done my best to limit the stat requirements. As for choosing your Bane, that's just triage. We have to figure out which stats are least helpful right now, and won't be missed later. HP, strength, speed, and defense are all vital for Corrin's combat performance. We don't want to ruin her magic, and we'd rather not hurt her hit rates too much by taking a skill Bane, so we're left with luck and resistance. If you choose unlucky, your base luck drops by 2, which costs you just 1 point each of hit, avoid, and dodge. You do take a hefty 20% penalty to luck growth, and your strength and magic growths drop by 5% as well. With Excitable, you instead lose a single point of resistance. Before the Branch of Fate, that makes no real difference. There are enemy mages in Chapter 5, but the penalty isn't big enough to matter, and Corrin's not the person who will be tanking those mages anyway. As for growths, you take a 10% hit to resistance and 5% to magic and speed. On balance, Unlucky gives you a small penalty to your accuracy and your strength growth, while Excitable hurts your speed growth a little. You can choose whichever you prefer. I'm taking the Res Bane for now. Again, when you use the Branch of Fate feature, you can change these, and Corrin's base stats will change accordingly, so the only differences that last are whichever stats grow along the way. With that all said, let's get going. The prologue is dead simple, but it is technically possible to screw it up. Obviously, you should go ahead and kill the fighter on turn 1. On turn 2, just make sure that you attack with Takumi first, not Corrin, and that Takumi uses Corrin's dual strike.
I'll protect you. Be careful.
Now let's move right along to Chapter 1.
Okay.
Let us be.
Once again, all you have to do is follow the game's directions. This battle is the first chance you get to change your settings. I'm turning animations off for the sake of speed, although that means we won't see the combat forecast on enemy phase. You should attack Xander whenever he can't kill you with his counterattack, and retreat to the heal tile when necessary. That's about it.
Ready for this? Let's go.
Good.
We've got this. Yes.
Ooh, that's a good start.
I'll protect you.
Next time, actual tactics.